Hey, I've got something really cool for you today. Yesterday, I did a live training and Q&A with Allie Fernando, the Director of Brand Experience at Kajabi. We talked about a simple path to making $3,000 a month on Kajabi. What's the quickest, easiest, best way to get there? We talked all about it, and I want to share that video with you today. This is video 35 of Crush It on Kajabi in 90 days. And today we're taking a little break from what we normally do, and we're gonna do this live training, and it's gonna be awesome. So without any further delay, let's go to the live training that we did yesterday, the simple path to $3,000 a month on Kajabi. If you could let us know where you're watching from and what kind of business you're in, that would be awesome. Will just jumped on. I had a call with him yesterday. He's one of my new Kajabi referrals. It's awesome to have him jumping on. Brooks, great to see you. All throughout our time together, you can ask questions. There's a little Q&A box on the bottom of the Zoom call there. And so if you can use that, the Q&A box for questions, we'll be able to see those better. They might get lost in the chat if you put them in the chat. So if you can remember to put them in the Q&A, that would be awesome. And I'm going to spend some time just kind of walking through some material, the simple path to $3,000 a month on Kajabi. Allie and I will kind of go back and forth on some of this, and then ask questions as they come to mind in the chat. And we might stop a little bit and ask questions, but definitely at the end, we're going to have a good time of Q&A to go over everything. But I got a lot to share with you, and I'm super, super excited that you're on, and I'm ready to get started. Allie, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm just so excited to be here. And thanks for letting me join. And hopefully I can answer your guys' questions. I do have my Kajabi site pulled up. So if I need to screen share or show anything as well, I'm happy to do so. But if I can't answer your question on here, I will for sure follow up with a resource where the answer will be. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, Allie, thanks so much. And by the way, if you don't know who Allie is the Director of Brand Experience at Kajabi. So she's kind of a big deal, and having her on here will be a really great resource. And if you don't know me, my name is Lane Sebring. I love to help online entrepreneurs to get their message out and make a great income doing it. And whether, when I say message, I mean whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're trying to do in the world. I love to help people couple their passion with income, because sometimes we can be really passionate about something, but it doesn't make us any money. And that's fine. You know, you can be passionate about golf and make no money from it, but it's really a fun thing when your passion and income goals can align in a really cool way. So I want to go ahead and jump on and share my screen with you all, and we will get going. So we're going to talk about the simple path to $3,000 a month on Kajabi. So I want to mention this right out of the gate. If, we're going to get into this, but if you are interested in jumping on to Kajabi, I want to let you know what I can offer you through my exclusive link, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. One thing I can do is a 30-day free trial. You're going to get that. You can't even get that if you go to kajabi.com. They have given this to me as a partner, and so I can give this to you. So you get 30 days to try it risk-free, and you can play around with everything we talk about today. You can get on there and experiment with it, see if it works for you. You'll also get my $25,000 course launch email template. My first course on Kajabi, I made $25,000 launching it in the first 3 launches, and thank you. I know some people do way better, but I was blown away by those numbers because it felt like free money because it was a digital product. But really helped people, really did some good stuff. But the way that I launched that was a set of emails in a specific order with a specific way of doing it. And I made that into a template to help you get started with your first launch. And then you're also going to get a 45-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me. And some of you that are on this call have done those calls with me. And they're one of the most fun things that I do during my week. I had one today, just a couple hours ago, with someone who is as a teacher that's taking some of her tutoring online. So we'll get to do that. We can talk about your business. We can talk about Kajabi. I can help you with technical stuff. We can talk strategy, whatever you want, just to get you off to a great start. So that is all at lanesebring.com/Kajabi. And you get that when you join through that link. Okay, so let's get started. When it comes to making an income online, I've tried, literally just about everything over the last 7 years. 7 years ago was when I wrote my first blog post ever on a little site called preachingdonkey.com, which is still around. It's one of my businesses. So I started a blog. And I honestly, at that time, had no intention of ever making money from it. I never knew that it could become something. It was just a passion. I was a pastor and I had majored in communication in college. And so in college, I learned how to connect and communicate with people. And then I went to seminary, which is like a master's program for preachers. And I learned how to bore everyone with the Bible. So I felt like there's got to be a way where we can take these good communication principles and put them with what I learned in seminary. So I just started blogging about it, and people started showing up and reading my blog. And so I started realizing, wow, I can grow an audience and I can really start to do something. And so I started a podcast. So now I have a blog and a podcast. Then I wrote a book. Then I started a YouTube channel. Then I wrote another book. And by the time I wrote my second book, I was making $300 or $400 a month and thinking, wow, if I can make $300 or $400 a month, could I make $3,000 or $4,000 a month? And I was still working full time as a pastor. And so anything I made on the side was just icing on the cake. And I've got kids, I've got a young family. And so I thought, man, if I can make any money at all, this would be really, really great. And so I became somewhat obsessed. I'll be honest. I became somewhat obsessed with the process of learning how to make more than just a few $100s on the side. And this led to a lot of experimentation. All right. I tried self-publishing more books, right? I thought, okay, I'm just going to write 100 books because I did the math and I said, 2 books makes me this much. I'll just write tons more. And I decided I didn't love writing books that much. 2 was about all I had in me at that point. So then I wrote blog posts to try to rank them in search. I took, courses on blogging, courses on how to rank blog posts. But then I realized it just seemed like there wasn't anything in it that really kept me coming to the table. Then I tried affiliate marketing for high ticket courses, and I took courses on how to do that. And I tried other stuff. Like I did, you name it. When it comes to online entrepreneurship, digital marketing, any of this stuff, I either studied about it, took a course about it, experimented with it, or all of the above, because I was just willing to do anything. I remember, though, times when I almost gave up. I was afraid the life and business that I had dreamed of was out of my reach. And you may feel like this if you're on the call. I felt like that maybe it was possible for people smarter, more connected, more talented than me. I knew it wouldn't be somebody better looking, because that's not possible. I mean, I'm just kidding. But I thought these people who have made it online, I'm trying to think of his name, Smart Passive Income, Pat Flynn, guys like that, making $100,000 a month. There must be something special about him that I don't possess. And so I remember times when I thought, I'm kidding myself. I should probably just realize that maybe this isn't for me and I can't be successful. All the while, here's what's crazy. I was sitting on an absolute gold mine, but I didn't know how all these pieces I had built could fit together, because one day I woke up and I had all of the pieces that I need, all of the pieces that I needed to make a great living online. I had content. I had an audience. By the way, that's really all you need. If you've got people who are following you for any reason at all, like you're providing value to them that's specific enough where you've gathered a targeted audience of even just a few hundred people, you can begin to make a living from that. But I had content, I had an audience, I had products. And at that point, it was just books and a little bit of coaching, but I did not know how to put it all together. And every time I would try and make a plan, I would feel just like I couldn't see the whole picture, and it would just frustrate me. And then 2 things happened. One was I got better coaching. I found a guy named Graham Cochran who's also a big Kajabi partner, but he helped me to sort through all of the mess that I had made. And I want to be that coach for you. That's one of the big passions that I have in my life right now, is to help people who are in the exact same place that I was in just a few years ago. The second thing that happened was I found Kajabi. Kajabi has been the tool. So there's coaching and then there's the tool, and you really need both. And I've had both. And so all these pieces that I put together, Kajabi was the thing that was able to fit them together and put them into something that would actually work for me. So I discovered a simple, proven process for making a legit passive income business out of the mess that I had cobbled together. And let me tell you, like it really was a mess. I had an email list over here. I had content, sitting on a YouTube channel and podcasts. I had a blog on a WordPress site with tons of plugins. I could not make sense of it. And every time I tried to figure out, what am I actually even selling and who is my customer and when am I going to put it together, I could not make it work. But I will save you the time and frustration. And I'm going to walk you through a simple process that I have used Kajabi to build my business, and now a second business, to the point where I was able to leave my job 14 months ago and support a family of 6 on what I'm making. And there's nothing special about me. I just work really hard and I have figured this out. So if you're willing to work hard and let me figure it out for you, you're more than halfway there. So here we go. This is the kind of 4-step plan. The first thing that you really need in this process is content. And I'll dig down into each one of these more deeply as we go through, but I want you to see the whole picture. So the first step is content, which is going to lead to your lead magnet. We'll get into what a lead magnet is in just a second, but essentially it is something that you're offering to your audience for free in exchange for their email address. So it's got to be valuable enough for people to be willing to give you their email address. But it's easy to make. So we have content that leads to a lead magnet, which leads to a welcome sequence, that is emails that go to the people on your list. And then you offer them the product. And by the way, once these pieces are set up, this is always happening. You're making content, people are watching the content, they're being offered your lead magnet. They're saying, oh, that's really good. That's a great resource. I want that. They're taking the lead magnet. They're being put in the welcome sequence. They get more value from you. They feel like they can trust you. They know you. They like you. And then when those emails begin to offer them a product that is awesome because you build it and you only build great products that solve problems for people, when all that stuff happens, you make sales. And then guess what? More people see your content, which means more people see your lead magnet, which means more people get put in the email sequence and more people are offered the product. And this cycle is happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the bigger your audience grows, the more content you have out there, the easier it is for this process to scale. I think you can see the power in this, that if you put these pieces together right and you show up and do the content, well, then eventually it's not just one product that you're offering. Maybe it's several, right? I have 3 products on my Preaching Donkey brand, a flagship course, a mini course, and a membership site. So I can play with this product offering quite a bit. I've got a couple of lead magnets, a couple of main lead magnets that I promote. I've got welcome sequences for each lead magnet, but I didn't start with all of that. Remember, I promised you simple. So what we want to do is figure out when we leave this call, what is the lead magnet you're going to build? What is the welcome sequence you're going to put together? And what product are you going to begin to work on? So let's dig into each one of these categories. And Allie, if there's a pertinent question that sticks out to you that I should address, just let me know.
No, they're mostly about Kajabi right now, so we can wait until after some of this stuff. But this is like gold. I feel like I'm like leaning in so heavily right now with what you're saying, because it's so true. If we can just simplify and get these 4 pieces in place, like you're off to the races. So excited to hear the rest of this, and we can answer the questions at the end.
Excellent. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's dig into content then. All right. So remember, content is the first step on our little path, our simple path. So what you're going to do with your content is really 3 things. If you get these 3 things right, then your content is going to win. It's going to do what you need it to do. The first thing is you need to publish consistent, helpful, relevant content. When I say consistent, I mean minimum once a week. Once a week, you need to have a major piece of content come out. If you're trying to figure out where to get started, I suggest YouTube, because it's so easy for you to grow on YouTube. Once YouTube figures out who you are and who to surface your content to, you will grow with their help in a way that is harder on other platforms. Another one I would suggest is TikTok. TikTok is just exploding right now. You can do really well. And I would add to that Instagram Reels. But again, if you're trying to be as simple as possible, YouTube and or a podcast. So again, you got lots of options, but when I say content, just know I'm not talking about a social media post. I'm talking about an original major piece of content that is helpful and relevant to your niche. So let me give you an example. So every single Thursday, I put out a piece of content for my Preaching Donkey brand. It's not just a social media post. It's not just a meme. It is a podcast that is both the audio and the video. The video goes on YouTube, the audio goes on the podcast, and it's helpful. Sometimes I interview people, sometimes I just teach, but it's consistent and it's helpful and it's relevant. Now, the next thing that you have to realize about content is if you do it right, content will build your know, like, and trust factor. So what you want when you do content is you want people to know you, like you, and trust you. And the way this works is the more people see your face, and this is why YouTube is so powerful, okay? Because you're hanging out with them for 10, 15 minutes at a time. They can see your face and they begin to associate you with the expertise that you bring to the table. So when they think, like I was talking just the other day to a guy who is a dog trainer, and he was telling me that he's kind of frustrated that there's this dog trainer online who gets all these clients without any problem. And he feels like he's having to kind of beg people to be his clients. And I said, well, the reason why it's easy for that guy is because they know, like, and trust him because they're watching his content. So to be able to spend some time personally with that guy, over Zoom to help train their dog feels like a privilege. They almost feel like they get to, not that they have to, or that the guy's convinced them to, they get to pay this guy to hang out with them. Again, that goes back to content. And he agreed. And I think just think about the people that you watch on YouTube, the podcasts you listen to, you start to feel like, man, if I had some time with that person, that'd be awesome. So build your know, like, and trust. And then this is crucial. Number 3, never let a piece of content go to waste. Always offer your lead magnet. Let me tell you a story. I had a small YouTube channel on my Preaching Donkey channel, and I decided to talk about a trending topic. I had never had a video go viral, and something came up in that niche, kind of in the news, and I made a quick video about it. And in the video, even though it had nothing to do directly with preaching and communication, I just said, hey, typically on this channel, we talk about preaching. We talk about how to improve your preaching. If you want to go further with that, go to preachingdonkey.com/21 days, pick up my 21-day guide to creating killer sermons, blah, 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 blah. I'll put it in your hands for free. Just a mention in a video that wasn't even about that, but because it was on my channel and somewhat related, I plugged it. That video went on to get 184,000 views, by far the biggest video on my channel. And that led from that one video to about 1,200 new email subscribers from one video. So again, if I had not mentioned lead magnet, here's what would have happened. A lot of people would have watched the video. It still would have got 184,000 views. They would have watched it. They would have said, hey, that was interesting. And they would have moved on and forgot about me, forgot I ever existed, maybe subscribe to my YouTube channel, but probably, who knows, maybe not. But I sure as heck wouldn't have them as email subscribers. So never let a piece of content go to waste. In every piece of content, invite people to take action and have a call to action to take the next step. And the best way to do that is through your lead magnet. So that's content. Step 2 is your lead magnet, right? Because everything, remember that circle, everything's leading to the next step. So a lead magnet must do 2 things. Number 1, a lead magnet needs to have a compelling, focused promise. And number 2, it needs to deliver a quick win. So a lead magnet has to be intriguing enough for people to go through the process of giving you their email. Kajabi makes this super easy. You set up a landing page, they put in their name, put in their email, or just their email. It's up to you how you set up the form. But you can put in their name, put in their email, hit submit, and they get it. But they still have to be comfortable enough giving you their email. So it needs to be something that when they even just hear the title, they say, wow, yeah, I have to have that. And if you mention it in every piece of content, they might listen to 6 or 7 podcast episodes and hear you talk about it every time. And then finally one day go, you know what? I need that checklist. Or they might watch 4 or 5 YouTube videos and finally go, you know what? I could really use that PDF guide because it's the right time. So make it compelling and make it focused so that they know what you're promising. And then the lead magnet needs to deliver a quick win. What you're going for is you want people, when they put that lead magnet in their hands, or they even just scan it. You want it to add value right away that they can apply. And again, this is all building that know, like, and trust. They know you, like you, and trust you. And so this is a trust builder. If you can put something in their hands that actually delivers a result, it's going to do that much more to ingratiate them to you, to build trust with you, and to get to the point where when you offer something for sale, they're buying it, because why wouldn't they? You've already provided all this value to them and you've asked nothing in return except their email address. Number 3, welcome sequence. So this is where we've done the content. You've done a great job of offering amazing content. All of that content has offered a lead magnet that has a clear, focused promise that is awesome. It delivers a quick win. Well, when they get that lead magnet, they are automatically subscribed to a welcome sequence. This is super easy to do in Kajabi. I walked somebody through this today, and I walked somebody through this yesterday. It's super easy to do, and it's so simple, but they get the lead magnet. I like to do an over deliver. This is something I learned from Graham, where you don't just give them what you told them you're going to give them. You give them more than you told them. You kind of promise, you under promise and over deliver just to kind of wow them a little bit. But they're going to get a set of emails as a new subscriber, and they're going to receive your lead magnet and then get those emails. So you're going to over deliver. You're going to get feedback. This is one of the things I love to do. My second email, ask a question. You know what I ask? I say, hey, I just realized I haven't introduced myself to you. My name's Lane. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I've got 4 kids. They're all girls. It's going to be expensive when we pay for weddings. Ha, ha, ha. Tell me about you. What are, anything you'd like to tell me about yourself, but 2 things I want to know. Number 1, what in your preaching, this is on the preaching donkey side of things. I say, what are you struggling with and what are your goals? Those 2 questions. So just today, I was talking to someone who is a teacher that's trying to take that teaching to empower people to teach their kids. And so I said, ask these people when you're homeschooling and you're tutoring these kids, what are you struggling with? Like, what are the challenges that you face? And what are your desires? What are you trying to accomplish? And then I say, I at the bottom of the email, I mentioned that I read every single one of those. Every single day of the week, I get responses to those emails. And here's the power of that. I get to hear from my audience in their language what they're struggling with and what their goals are. And it's automatic. It's all through my welcome sequence. So when I go to build a product and when I go to position a product and market a product, I actually know exactly who I'm talking to and what they're struggling with. So over deliver, get that feedback, add value, and then you're going to offer your product. And again, all of this is happening within the welcome sequence. All right, number 4. Now we're going to do the product offer. So start by offering coaching. You can get started right away. So this is one of the things that I like to suggest to people, that if you don't have a course, it takes a little while to build a course. Kajabi just released a new coaching program, and it's awesome. You can get started with coaching and offer coaching. The beauty of doing that is, the way I do coaching is I do one discovery call and then I put together a proposal. And if they agree to it, we do a package of coaching. I don't have to do a lot of preparation to do a coaching session. Nothing like when I build a course. So the value of coaching is access to you and your brain in real time to deal and help somebody with their actual issues right there. So that's why I say offer coaching right away. But while you're coaching, and while that whole cycle is going on, because you've built this process where you've got the lead magnet, you got the welcome sequence, you're continuing to provide consistent, helpful content. Now what you're going to do is you're going to build a mini course, which is easy to do. I have a mini course. It's just 7 lessons, and it's really focused. It solves one problem, solves it really well, and launch that course to your list. Then it becomes what new subscribers are offered. So in that welcome sequence, it becomes the thing that you offer people in the sequence after they've watched your content, downloaded your lead magnet, you've over delivered, you've added value, you've asked them about what they're struggling with, you've added more value, and then you've said, hey, I've got this course, I've got this program that is exactly for you, and it's going to help you do X, Y, Z. So that's the simple path. Now I want to mention a couple of things. Content, lead magnet, welcome sequence, product offer. So that's the whole plan. And I hope you've got your questions coming because I'm almost done, but I want to mention something. If I know I went through this really fast, I'm currently doing a YouTube series called Crush It on Kajabi in 90 days. So I think today was day 35 or maybe 34, but everything I just mentioned, I have demonstrations, tutorials, screen shares. So if you go through the last 35 days of content and the next 65 days that are left, I'm going to have tons and tons and tons of content on there with you or for you. And if you join Kajabi using my link, I can screen share with you live and help you get through any technical problems that you have. Plus, Kajabi has amazing support. But if you're confused about any of that process, or you just kind of want to go deeper, then definitely subscribe. YouTube.com/LaneSebring live is my channel. So let's talk about the math. All right. So that was the path, the simple path of $3,000 a month. Let me show you how this works in a kind of real scenario. So let's say that you have a mini course and you're selling it for $100 a piece. You've got that audience, you got the lead magnet, the content, you got the welcome sequence, and it's constantly pumping people through that sequence, and it's offering your course at $100 each. If you just sold 15 in a month, that's one every couple of days, you're at $1,500 a month from the course. And then if you offered coaching at $500 a month to 3 people, that's $1,500. And by the way, if $500 a month for coaching sounds like a lot, it's not. The more you do, the more access that people get to you one-on-one, the more you charge a premium for that. The more you have that know, like, and trust factor, the more of authority you are on the subject, the more you can charge. So $500 a month per person for coaching, depending on how you structure it, is a great place to start. So those two scenarios get you to 3,000, and you can do that pretty quickly. Like you can be there in the next 30 to 60 days at this level if you put in the work. Now let's talk about a $6,000. All right, simple math of 6,000. So we still have the 15 mini courses at $100 each. Now we're only coaching 2 clients because we're charging a little more, and it's $750 a month each instead of $500 because we're worth a little bit more. So we're going to charge a little bit more. So we're working less, but we're making more. And in this process, we've built a flagship course. We're selling one every 3 days. We're selling we're 10 flagship courses at $300 a month. So $3,000, $1,500, $1,500, that's $6,000 a month. And if you multiply that by 12, that's $72,000. That's a pretty good living unless you live in Southern California. So this is this is the simple math, and this totally can work. So I hope you can see, if we go back to this kind of graph here, everything begins and ends with content, and all of these pieces, when you look at them in this kind of this circle, it's like, okay, you can do this. I'm telling you, if I can do this, this can be applied to any online business. And this process just keeps repeating for every new brand that you start, or every new product that you make, or every new lead magnet you make. You just just rinse and repeat. And all of these lead magnets and welcome sequence and products can stay in your ecosystem, and you're always bringing people in. And Kajabi, the back end, all this stuff that you've set up is serving them well, so that you're not having to actively exchange time for money all the time. So again, if you want to jump on Kajabi, we're going to go to Q&A in just a second. So don't jump off, because we're going to answer your questions. 30-day free trial, the course template, and a 45-minute one-on-one call with me, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. All right. So let's jump into the questions. And Allie, you have been paying much more attention to the chat than I have. So tell me what's been going on in the chat and bring me up to speed. And what thoughts do you have on what I shared?
Yeah. First and foremost, just love everything that you shared. I think what's most important, I've been around, entrepreneurs who are starting out in their business I've worked at Kajabi for 4 years. So I think the most valuable piece of advice that you kind of kept saying throughout this whole thing is simplify, right? Like, go forward with the content, serve your audience with value, continue to listen to their feedback. And using those 4 components, you can build to this $3,000 a month, $6,000 a month, and hopefully beyond. And so definitely echo everything you say about simplifying, starting with the content, leading with that value first, and then the things will naturally flow from there. And I love that you ended with like the simple math, because I think sometimes people get caught up in like, oh, like I need to have a $10,000 month and how am I going to do that? And you start to hack together things. And that's not how you build a brand, right? You build a brand by slowly and steadily building that know, like, and trust that you talked about. And you can break down like, okay, 10 courses this month, 15 courses next month, sales. I mean, that feels very tangible and very realistic and very like putting the puzzle pieces together to build to this thing, as opposed to hacking it to get to the outcome that you want. So appreciate everything you said. There are a few easy questions that we can answer just right off the bat, but I would encourage you, if you're watching, please drop more questions in the chat or on the Q&A slide, and we'll be able to answer them here. But one of the first things was, what's the difference between a Kajabi founder and a Kajabi partner? Super easy question to answer. So a Kajabi founder is someone who signed on to Kajabi or purchased Kajabi when we first launched, which was 10 years ago. And I guess 10 years ago when the company was founded, but about 5 to 6 years ago when we launched the current iteration of Kajabi. And so our Kajabi founders are close to our heart. They believed in us from the beginning, and they are awesome. So that's a Kajabi founder. And then a Kajabi partner is someone who is a Kajabi hero, just like Lane, has built a business on Kajabi, sees the value in Kajabi, and is now helping others get started on Kajabi by referring them. So that's the difference there, slight nuance. But quickly wanted to answer that. The next one is Kajabi going to have a product for podcasts like Buzzsprout's Music Mastery, which fixes the audio? So that's a great question, Leonard. Thank you so much for asking. We're very, very excited about the new podcast feature. It was something that just launched in July. And now giving you that ability, like I said at the beginning, to have both a public and a private podcast. And I'll give you just like a little bit of context behind why we added podcasts. I think here at Kajabi, we talk a lot about what does it take for a creator and an entrepreneur who is trying to monetize online. Like, what are the mediums in which they're doing that? And for a long time, it was courses and membership sites. Like, that was the big thing. And I still think that courses and membership sites are flagship products that will always exist in the digital space. But we've started to kind of like iterate on what does that look like to allow multiple different areas and ways to monetize your knowledge. And a huge area of opportunity is podcasting. There's so many great podcasts out there, and it's a great way to deliver your content. Like I said earlier, to have a closed private podcast where you're monetizing that like extra little bit of exclusivity. And so podcast is just another medium in which you can deliver your knowledge and package it up into an online business. So that's kind of why we added it. And then coming soon are the coaching features as well as the newsletter features. So it's kind of that same vision of, hey, there are multiple different ways you can monetize your knowledge online, whether that be through coaching clients, through podcasts, through courses, membership sites, newsletters. And we want to be the tool in which you can use for all of those different types of mediums, all under one roof, to make it easier for you to get up and running. So to answer the original question, we don't have that right now in the first iteration of podcasting, but I would encourage you, if you go to ideas.kajabi.com, and I can throw this in the chat, we would love to hear your feedback and love to hear that as a something that you would want to see in Kajabi. We take customer feedback very seriously here, and we are always looking for new ways to expand the existing product features that we have. So ideas.kajabi.com, if you throw that in there. I think the first thing that our podcasting team is really thinking about is like, how do we make it easier for people to monetize their podcast? How do we allow creators to really grow their business using podcasts? So I think those types of features will take precedent in our beginning stages of podcasting, but something like, Buzzsprout's Music Mastery is also very much so on our radar. And I think it could be a valuable tool. So go to ideas.kajabi.com, submit it as a feature request, and it will find its way back to the product team. Okay, cool. The next one was, this is for you, Lane. It says, is there going to be a replay for those people who couldn't make it today?
Yeah. I will package this up and send it out to people who weren't able to make it. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Andrew said, this is a good question. So Andrew asked, are there virtual assistants that can help set up the Kajabi website / features for you? It would be nice to focus mainly on content creation. So totally hear that, Andrew. I know that's a big question we get asked a lot. One, I would definitely look to Lane to help you get things set up. Obviously, I know Lane's not a virtual assistant, but in helping you understand the platform, I always encourage entrepreneurs that when you're starting out on Kajabi, learn the tool, like learn how to do it. I don't ever want to encourage you to get into a place where you hired a VA to do everything and you know, something happens with that person and you no longer can work with them. And now you have a whole functioning business that you don't know how to use yourself. So I would definitely recommend that if you haven't jumped into Kajabi and just at least clicked around and familiarized yourself at a very high level, do that first. Then I would suggest we have an amazing Kajabi customer Facebook group, which has 27,000 Kajabi heroes in it. We do have a lot of virtual assistants in there. We have a lot of just amazing Kajabi like wizards. They know Kajabi like the back of their hand. And if you put a post in there, I'm sure that you will get a ton of people who are willing to help and who can refer someone who's helped them. So it's a great, great place for you to ask that question and hire a VA. And hopefully sometime soon we'll have something that makes it a little bit easier to hire a VA. But for right now, I think the Facebook group is a great way to go. But like I said, I always encourage you to take a look under the hood yourself first so that you're familiar with what your business is running on, just in case you ever need to do it yourself.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. When I've done 99% of everything myself, but there was a point where I hired somebody to do some just very technical work that I wanted to make sure was done right. And I found them on the Kajabi page, or the group that you're talking about. It's a great experience. I actually recommended her to someone that she's working with now. So if you need a name, Jody Peaver is her name. I have no problem recommending her. So she is like, her whole business is helping people with Kajabi. So
yeah, Jody's been a long time Kajabi customer. So she's awesome.
Yeah, she does great work. She's super fast. Randall said, any way I can get the bonuses since I'm already doing the 3-month Kajabi deal. Did you sign up on my link, Randall? Can you let me know that if you're one of mine? While he's looking for that, he says also, what kind of lead magnets work the best? There's two things I like with lead magnets. One is guides. I like to provide guides. The reason why is because it might cover some of the same content and material that I teach, but just by putting it on paper, I'm able to provide like a deeper, in-depth experience with my material. And it kind of feels like, okay, I've got something that I can look at and read through, and you're going to walk me through it step by step. That's why I really like guides. The other thing I like is checklist. I think those work really well. Those are the two that I kind of stick to the most. What do you think, Allie?
Yeah, I love personally a checklist and a guide. I also love like video content or anything that feels a little bit more personal. That obviously can be automated and scaled. So I've loved lead magnets that feel a little bit more like I'm connecting with the creator and I'm connecting with that person. I also just love like consistency. So like, I know there's something to be said about like, hey, you opted in for a lead magnet and you got, one thing, but like just the other day I was looking for healthy recipes and I found this creator who does, weekly or monthly newsletters for people who are opted into her of a healthy recipe. And you could either do weekly recipes that you pay like $5 a month to get these like weekly recipes, or you could do monthly recipes that were free. And so I kind of like that, like consistency of like, I can opt in and I know every month I'm going to be getting a free healthy recipe delivered to my inbox. And if I really enjoy it after the first couple of months, I can go deeper by purchasing, her weekly subscription, and then maybe even go deeper by, purchasing her membership site where she actually shows live how to cook and whatever. And so I kind of like that trajectory of like, I get to choose how much I want to participate in this. And then I can kind of slowly get more access to that. So
yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I know what you described is really good, where you actually kind of promise an ongoing thing. Assessments are something you can do on Kajabi. People love to take little quizzes about themselves, and then you can kind of direct them towards your products. Brooks says, if I use the tools already that I enjoy for email marketing, course creation, podcast hosts, and it all works well, would there still be a good reason to make the move over to Kajabi? What do you think, Allie?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part of that?
Would there still be a good reason to move over to Kajabi?
Yeah. So I think it just really depends on where you're at in your business, Brooke. So I know you said that you have the email marketing, course creation, podcast, etc., and it works well. If you have those things, then like theoretically, the answer is no, you don't need Kajabi if you already have them set up. But I think it depends on where you're looking to scale, right? So like first and foremost, how expensive are all those tools when you add them up month over month? Are you paying, $500 a month to string together all those platforms? What limitations exist within those platforms? And can they be replicated in Kajabi, or can they be fixed in Kajabi? And so that's something that I would encourage you to like think through. And then also the idea of like making those systems talk, like how much of your business are you spending on, or how much of your time in your business are you spending on getting tools to talk to one another and figuring out the tech, and how much are you spending on things that are going to make you money? And if you find that over time, that process of connecting all these tools is really getting more cumbersome, that's when I think you need to make the decision of like, okay, what's got to give here, or what can I cut back on, or how can I consolidate? And that's where something like Kajabi could be really helpful for you. The main things that we do are websites, email marketing, course creation, podcasting, membership site, any type of product, automation. So getting all of that to talk to each other, while you're off doing whatever you want to do, so that you can run a business on autopilot essentially. And then CRM as well. So like customer relationship management, tracking, who's opted into your email list versus purchase your products versus purchase multiple products. What's the journey look like as a customer? So all of that is housed within Kajabi. And I would say those are probably like our main feature sets. And so again, it just comes down to where you're at in your business and what you need to scale, and how much time you're wasting or continuing to pour into tools that maybe are not giving you that ROI that you deserve as a creator. So in theory, you look like you have everything, worked out, but I would just question as you scale, what's most important to you.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, Brooks. What you're describing is essentially where I was prior to coming to Kajabi. I had ConvertKit for email, Teachable for courses, Libsyn for podcasts. I'm trying to think of, WordPress for the website. And not just the headache that Allie just described, and I fully agree with that, and I talk about that all the time, but the expense. All of those things added up came to way more than the growth plan of Kajabi that I'm currently on. Yeah. And I doing the math of what I was paying versus what I'm paying now, it's saving me about $2,000 a year to move to Kajabi, and it's a lot easier to do. I'm not having to make two different systems talk to each other and worry about, if this person buys this course, is this system going to know to opt them out of, if they buy a course on Teachable, how is ConvertKit going to know to stop emailing them about the course? There's a lot. It's just a headache on Kajabi. Kajabi makes it so easy. Lane, you forgot the duct tape you had. Yes. It is like it's patching together a bunch of things with duct tape, and it's very frustrating, and it makes you as a business owner feel fragile. And I remember one time I updated the plugins on my WordPress site. Something went wrong with one of my plugins and it shut down my entire site. And I felt so vulnerable. I felt like my whole livelihood exists on this program and I can't trust it. Yeah. So that's why I just feel so good being at Kajabi. So
the other thing to consider too, that I always like to point out with this conversation of like, do I consolidate? Do I continue, doing the systems that I know already? Is a couple of things. One is when you learn how to do one thing in Kajabi, you pretty much know how to do all the rest. So an example of this is if you know how to edit a page in Kajabi, our email editor, our visual email editor, pretty much functions exactly the same. So you learn one thing and you'll be good to go. Not saying that it's going to be, easy at all times. Like I definitely think there's a learning curve to Kajabi, but you're not having to learn the UI and the UX of 5 different platforms, which all function very differently. Once you know one thing in Kajabi, you can pretty much figure out the rest and you're good to go in your business. And then the other thing I like to point out, just from like a software company point of view, every single software that you're using has a different roadmap. Every single company has different priorities. Every single company has different things on their radar. And so if you're fragmented as a business owner, you're trusting that all of these softwares are going to continue to function the same way that you think that they should function for the rest of time, right? ConvertKit, it might be on their radar to go in a different direction with email marketing. And you're like, well, that's not what I wanted. And that doesn't talk to Teachable anymore because of the way that they're moving in the direction of their company. And so you're kind of at the whim of 5 different roadmaps and 5 different priorities at that point.
Yeah. When I was at ConvertKit, they changed their name and then changed it back. It was a mess. So anyway, yeah, this is really good. We got some stuff in the chat. I'm going to get to Andrew's question in just a second, but Brooke said great points on the total cost. Agreed. And them talking to each other. The pull for Kajabi is the all-in-one platform. Thanks for the thoughts. Yeah, absolutely, man. And Brooks has got a great YouTube channel going. Since Kajabi is almost a complete all-in-one rather than alternative programs, this is from Leonard. It makes no sense to use anything else if Kajabi has it. Yeah, that's the thing. Anytime Kajabi adds a feature, I'm just getting rid of, I'm no longer having to use a podcast platform because I can move to Kajabi now. Can Kajabi or will it be adding live streaming? Allie, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So currently we integrate with, well, I shouldn't use the word integration because everyone has a different definition of what that means, but you can use in conjunction with Kajabi, you can use Zoom and you can also use YouTube Live. So those are 2 methods that we currently have in place. I don't know that there's anything on the roadmap right now for live streaming, but never say never. We're moving at the speed of light, so I wouldn't be surprised, but right now the integration is that you can create a funnel that has a Zoom, connection to it where you can go on a webinar like this or a Zoom meeting. And then same thing for YouTube Live. You can embed them right into a Kajabi landing page, which is actually how we, on July 8th, when we announced podcasting, coaching, and newsletters, we had a large event and we hosted it through YouTube Live embedded on a Kajabi landing page. So it works for 10,000 plus people events and it works for, smaller webinars. You can use YouTube Live to do a lot of really amazing things. And so we found that works effective for us. So would encourage you to look at those 2 options, Zoom and YouTube Live. And YouTube Live is free, which is great. So, and it embeds right into a Kajabi landing page and feels like a really seamless experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, like with the benefit of the YouTube is sound like an old person. The YouTube there is no cap. My Zoom account can only handle 500 people, which is plenty for my brand at this point. But at some point, that's not going to be enough. And YouTube has no limit. So
yeah, and I'll also say too, like just off of our own event experience with YouTube Live, the virality of it is really kind of cool, right? You do a YouTube Live and then you post it on your channel afterwards. And we got 5,000+ extra views on this event that we hosted that felt like a really integrated experience on a Kajabi landing page, but it lives on forever on YouTube now. And we can have people coming back to our brand and coming back to the message. And it's a really cool way to utilize both the live event aspect on Kajabi, but also use virality of YouTube.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. I want to get to Andrew's question. Would building a business profile on Google and linking your Kajabi website products to that be worth the time and investment, or worth the investment of time?
I don't know what that means to build a business profile on Google. Do you? Or what that entails?
I'm not sure. Is that like,
if you're talking about like G Suite and whatnot, I don't know that there's any direct linkage. Or if you're just talking about registering the business so that it shows up when you just Google search it, I would think that would be a good investment of time, but I'm not sure what it means to link those 2 things together. I've just never gotten that question before.
Yeah. I can say I have a G Suite account, right? For, Lane at preachingdonkey.com. And I've got the whole Drive system on Google, and I receive emails there and can send them. That same email address is in Kajabi. And that's where the emails are sent and received. So if that's the question, I think we might get some. Does Brendan? Oh, that's unrelated. So yeah, if you're still on, Andrew, and you want to help us understand that, we can probably answer that question a little better. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We talked about live streaming. Since Kajabi has so many frequent development cycles, it is much better than anything. Yeah. I agreed. How many development cycles a year do you guys do?
It's every 8 weeks. So okay. A lot, whatever okay. 52 divided by 8 is. Yeah, it's a lot. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, we do development cycles, which basically just means for 8 weeks, our product engineering team are focused on a specific set of goals of we're going to get this, this, and this out to customers in their hands at this time. And every 8 weeks, we celebrate that and we share updates and we share cycle recaps and we share what we've been working on. And I think it just all roots back in the fundamental belief that what we do is empower entrepreneurs. And how we do that is by providing them with the most frequent and best tools available to build a business online. And so we're constantly improving, constantly iterating, constantly fixing bugs, listening to our customers and introducing new feature sets. And so it's just a fun kind of gamified way to make sure we're tracking progress on those things and getting everyone involved on these 8-week development cycles.
Yeah. And I will tell you, like, as a business owner, knowing that Kajabi is not taking their foot off the pedal, like they're continuing to press forward, and yet it's still the same price. I mean, you guys keep adding features and charging us the same, so it's really cool.
Yeah. I will say, since I started at Kajabi, I think we've had price adjustments. I should say, I don't even think it was an increase because we just like added a plan basically once. And I've been here for 4 years. And when I started at Kajabi was when they first introduced landing pages. So all you could do was have your course and a landing page. Yeah. And now think about how far we've come. We have email, we have automations, we have webinars, we have podcasting, we have coaching, all these things. And not once have we raised the price. So it is a pretty cool thing to be able to say.
Yeah. That's awesome. Gosh, I just love it so much. It's made my life so much better. Let's see. Leonard says, does Brendan Burchard also teach Kajabi or have any regular videos on YouTube? Yeah, he does. He both. Yeah.
He's a huge believer in Kajabi. He was actually technically Kajabi customer number 2 because our first Kajabi customer was our founder. But he was a very early Kajabi user and uses it for all of his courses as well. So he's a big fan. And I'm sure if you YouTube his Kajabi series and stuff, things will pop up.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any. We'll see. Okay, here we go. What does 0% transaction fee mean? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So 0% transaction fee means that we don't actually take any money of the money that you make. So you can do a checkout on Kajabi and we integrate with Stripe or PayPal. Now, of course, you're going to have a transaction fee with Stripe, the payment processor, or PayPal, which is typically around like 2 to 3%. And you're going to get that anywhere that you go because of the payment processing fees. But Kajabi ourselves, we don't take a cut of that at all. So 98% of your money made on Kajabi is going to go to you, and the 2% extra is going to go to Stripe. So yeah, that's all that means.
Yeah. And the thing to keep in mind when you're looking at the pricing structures of competitors, like take Teachable, for example, on some of their lower end plans, they've got 5% transaction fees. So it looks great to see a plan that's $39, but if you're giving 5% away every time and you start doing some volume, that's, you just do the math. It doesn't make sense. So that's why I just love that, the payouts are instant on Stripe. I get it same day or the next day deposited. And I can take it to the bank. I mean, it does it for me, but you get the idea.
You can package it up and go down to the bank. I just imagine you with like briefcases.
I'm here with my Kajabi money. Okay, I got another question. Lane, have you ever considered doing a regular live stream Q&A about Kajabi? You have a great teaching style. Thank you. I appreciate that, Leonard. Right now I am just trying to get through my 90 days. I might do some of those live. That might be a good idea.
That's a big commitment, 90 days.
Yeah. I'm not sure who made me agree to do that, but no, I'm actually really loving it. But at this point, between that video every single day and everything else I've got going, I would have to probably I might pick a day of the week and just that day's video is a live Q&A. I think you changed my life, Leonard, because that'll be so much easier than making a video in advance. So thank you.
True. You do have a natural teaching style for sure.
Oh, thank you. If you want to use my link, it's right there, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. I'd love to have the honor of being to be able to work with you on your way to Kajabi success. You'll get those bonuses. You'll get some time with me where we can hang out and work on your stuff together. There are people on this call like Eric hasn't said anything in the chat, but Eric is a guy that is one of my Kajabi referrals, and we've just become great friends. He's a fitness trainer, lives in Florida. Oh, I'm here, brother. There he is. So, yeah, I mean, we're trading coaching. I'm coaching him on business. He's coaching me on fitness. I mean, the friends you can make here on Kajabi are just, the sky's the limit, people.
It's true. I feel like if you know any industry, it's on Kajabi. We have a lady making over 6 and 7 figures, honestly, teaching how to doodle. So how to like take notes in a like artistic way. We have a lady teaching custom upholstery on chairs. Her business is called Chair Whimsy. We have a clown school. We have a mushroom forager. We have artists and podcasters and coaches and fitness trainers, like anything you can imagine, you can sell and do on Kajabi, which is amazing.
Yeah. One of my, the other day I had a call with a hypnotherapist who signed up under my link, and he's teaching hypnotherapy comedy. So cool. I don't even know what that is, but it sounded cool. He said he could help me lose weight by hypnotizing me. So we'll see. I don't know. But
wow.
Yeah, I mean, just the people you meet, it's so fun. And even on this call, we've got an attorney, we've got artists, we've got fitness people. Any plans for a directory of Kajabi heroes to help in various professions?
You know, we've talked about that before. Maybe. I think it'd be cool. We do have a created on Kajabi page. I think it's just kajabi.com/created on Kajabi. It showcases like people who have built really cool businesses on Kajabi. But that's a good idea, Leonard, because I think that you can get inspired. And joining the Facebook group, I think you'll see faces pop up and niches pop up that you're like, I didn't even know this existed. So we definitely have a lot of plans for community in the future. So maybe a directory is a part of that.
Well, everybody, this was great. Allie, do you have any closing thoughts?
Thank you so much for having me. If anyone still has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Lane or myself. Really appreciate the conversation, and hopefully was able to shed some light on some of the outstanding Kajabi questions. So no, just thank you for having me. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciated it. Really appreciate it. Hit me up, email me, lane@preachingdonkey.com if you have any questions. My link is there, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. Hugs all around. Love you guys. Keep it real, homies. Bye. Bye. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought about that training. If you want to jump onto Kajabi, use my link below, lanesebring.com/Kajabi. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any videos in this series. Let me know in the comments what questions you have, and I'll be sure to address them in future videos in this series. For now, you can check out this playlist right here where we'll talk more about Kajabi, answer more questions that you might have. So click right there on that playlist, and I'll see you there.